Today on The Riff, Jeremy sits down with Preston Ulmer's better half, Lisa. We hope today is helpful and hopeful. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to another episode of The Riff. I am Jeremy, and this is not Justin. No, you have, I don't know if you all noticed Justin has a haircut, but you have way, way better hair than Justin does.
Thank you, but less on my face.
Less on your face,
Hopefully.
but more on the very top of the head there. And this is Lisa Ulmer. Lisa, what's your middle name?
Joy.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's my mom's name.
I do know that.
Yeah.
Is it Mark and Joy?
It is. Yeah, it's also Piper's middle name, so we're just passing it right
Oh my
along.
word.
Yeah, I know.
Do you think Piper has a pressure? Like, have you thought through that? Like, is that a pressure you're putting on Piper?
It's a healthy pressure.
Do you want her to, if she were to have a kid? I mean, I'm not trying to like do that kind of pressure, but like if she had a kid, would you strongly recommend it?
Yeah, I don't know. Preston Joy might not flow as easily for a young man, but
I think
maybe.
it would. Preston is one of the most joyful guys that I've met. Now, side note, you're related to Preston. How are you related to Preston?
Yes, I am married to that man for almost 17 years now.
Wow,
Yeah.
That is awesome. Okay, so a lot of you have been around North Point a long time. You probably are familiar with Preston. He's one of our teaching pastors. He oversees spiritual formations. But I'm not even confident he's my favorite Ulmer because
Ooh.
I really enjoy the entire family.
Okay.
Piper and Brennan, they're up there.
Yeah, they're pretty
They're
great.
fun. They're some of my favorite conversations every week. And then Lisa, you also work at North Point. Tell us a little bit about what you do at North Point.
I do, yes. I am in the finance director role with our central team. So we're one church, 4 campuses, and some of those things that we do for all 4 campuses. So financials is one of those things, as well as HR, some of the employee side on the backside of what we do. When people work here, I'm over that. So I love it. It's a great job. I get to help people and help serve the people that are serving all of the people that attend North Point.
Okay, what's the dumbest thing about your job? What's the
dumbest?
part? Well, how about what's the part you like the least?
This is like a weird question. I don't know that I was
thank you.
expecting
Well,
my
thank
least
you.
favorite part of the job.
I
out of the
googled it. I
gate.
googled that question.
I don't know, Jeremy.
What part of the job? How about this? Let me say a little more HR-ish, since you oversee that department too. What part of the job, if you could delegate and not touch that part of the job again, you would? And then I'll say, what part of the job is your favorite?
Oh, that's interesting. Probably just all the forms that we have to collect at certain, from new employees or certain times of the year. There's just a lot of paperwork.
A lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
But turns out paperwork's important.
It is important.
It is important.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what's your favorite part of the job?
Man, I mean, I love being a part of seeing the mission move forward. And I think like a lot of the big new things that are on the horizon for North Point, like the Republic campus, like new things that are coming up, just being able to see that mission reach more people and having a part to do with that, just being able to be on the team with the financial side and being able to make that possible is really cool. I love doing that.
I'm really thankful to have you on the team. So some of you, probably a lot of you know Lisa, specifically a Springfield campus is been your campus home for years now.
About 6 years. So we started coming in 2019. So we were North Pointers first, and then on staff later.
And you also are on our worship team, and so sing keyboard as well. So
Yes,
guitar,
that's true.
any guitar?
Not on the worship team. You make fun of people sometimes when they talk about their musical abilities. I heard you bring up clarinet with April on her episode, and I actually do play the clarinet.
You're a woodwindist?
I am a woodwind player. Yes.
Okay.
Small known fact. I can play guitar, but I just keep it to keyboard on.
Do you do that to alleviate stress sometimes? You go home from work and I'm just going to need about 20 minutes and pull out the clarinet.
No.
Did you ever play hot cross buns?
Yes. That's more a recorder.
It sounds like someone's playing a oboe
right now.
Yeah, in the room next to us. I don't know if that's translating, but so a recorder. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up recorder because I played the recorder as well.
I think everyone did.
Well, you don't need to take that away from me. But here's what. At my recorder, we would show up because it was in North Idaho and we didn't all have our own recorders. Okay. So we had the music lady, and we would take the recorders, and when you're done, you just drop them in a bucket of ammonia.
I know, yeah.
And so then you just pick it up. And so I've got a
wipe it off on your shirt.
I shoulda.
Yeah.
I shoulda. I just got a very wet mouth of ammonia germed recorder from some fifth grader. So,
yeah. Well,
okay, so when's the last time you played it?
The clarinet or the recorder?
Well, I want both.
It's been several years since the clarinet.
Really?
It is in the closet at home. I do have it.
Okay.
I just need probably a new reed, which is...
Is it a financial thing?
The reeds?
Yeah. Is that why you're not... Because
no,
we can start a GoFundMe.
Hoover Music went out of business, so I don't know where to find new reeds.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I got to find a new music store.
Okay.
But no, I have not played the clarinet in several years, but I can.
Okay, so now let me ask you this: is it true that you were the worship leader for your church plant in Denver? Is that true?
Yes, okay. I was, as well as a number of other roles, because when you church plant, if you don't do it, nobody does. So yeah, worship as well as some business administration.
Okay, so I want to go, so here's what I want to do. I want to go to time machine. I want to go way back to the very beginning. So tell us a little bit about growing up. What was life like growing up for Lisa?
Yeah. So I was born, I was awake suddenly one morning. No, I'm not going to go that far back. I was raised in a pastor's home. So I have 3 siblings, and I'm the third of 4. And do you
have a favorite sibling?
I can't say that.
You can.
Okay, my sister.
Okay, that's fair. Does she listen to the Riff?
No.
Okay.
I have 2 older brothers and a younger sister. And so we were at church a lot as kids. We were there many days of the week helping out my dad.
Where were you guys living?
Arizona.
Okay.
So he pastored a church in Arizona. We lived right next door in the parsonage.
Okay.
Which is the house the church owned.
Okay, so the history of the parsonage, I've lived in a parsonage too. That was Leanna and I's first abode.
Okay. Yeah.
Is back in the day, that was one way you'd pay a pastor is, hey, we can't offer much salary, but here's a house. Side note, you're now full-time security for the church.
We were there anytime the alarm went off. That's correct. But yeah, I mean, I have great memories of being a kid and just being in church a lot. And
were you a missionette?
I am an honor star.
Oh, which is Susanna, Tabitha, Anna, Ruth?
Well, an honor star is the crowning achievement of a missionette. Oh. If you make it all the way through, it means I read the entire Bible through. I completed all of the tasks and learned about those 4 women as a star. And an honor star has like a crowning ceremony.
Oh, I've been to many honor star crownings.
We get a cape.
I've seen them.
And a crown.
Yeah,
and
it's like Miss America for Assemblies of God kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have a talent? Because when I grew up going to church, every honor star would do their talent. Oh. But the thing is, they were pretty liberal on what they would consider a talent.
Like?
It wasn't always talented.
I probably sang a song, but this would be my... I was like 12. So you're asking me to remember a long time ago.
Yeah. So you grew up... great church experience. I was in Royal Rangers. So basically it's like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts in a church setting, or Awana if you come from like a Baptist setting.
Yeah.
It's actually a really great tool to learn a ton of scripture and put you with great mentors, typically.
Yeah.
So then...
Did you earn some skills, some camping skills as well?
I got to tell you.
Some badges?
This is terrible.
Ready for anything?
Ready to work, play, serve, worship, live, etc., or something like that?
Yep.
Okay, so I stole some badges. So I was a Royal Ranger. It's very much like Boy Scouts. I'm just going to say this.
You didn't want to earn them?
No, I wanted to. I just couldn't. So in Royal Rangers, you have increasingly more difficult badges.
Okay.
And so I was at the age of pioneers.
Okay.
Which is, fourth, fifth grade when my creativity was a little more advanced than my integrity. And so I had moved away for a year. When I moved back, we had a showcase in our vestibule, our church lobby, with all the Honor Star Award or Missionette Awards and Royal Ranger Awards. And so I scoochied back the showcase, reached in there, grabbed the medals that I needed, and showed up the next week with those medals pinned on
your
my
vest?
Well, no, because that's a buckaroo or a straight arrow.
Oh, okay.
This would be my khaki shirt.
Okay.
And said that I earned these all when I was living in Denver. And they made me Royal Ranger of the Year, sent me to a sectional competition for other Royal Rangers of the Year where I promptly got last place.
Oh, that's bad.
I stole. So a Royal Ranger is honest. Not all of them are.
No.
Not all of them are. I know of one little boy in North Idaho who was not. So, yeah. So we're basically same.
Well, I don't know. I'm a 1 on the Enneagram, so
You
that
are.
kind of makes me cringe a little bit.
You know what they say about the 1 is you're orderly, you play by the books. They say the 3 is creative, and the big sin is that of deception.
Yeah.
So I don't know that fits, but anyway.
The 1 is
I had to outgrow
wrath,
some of that.
I think.
Yeah, a little anger.
Especially when things are unjust.
Which I think, okay, so let's talk Enneagram for a second. Then I want to go back to like growing up, even beyond elementary years. Okay. So, but what's interesting is when we first started learning about the Enneagram, we had someone come in and talk. Dr. Swift came in and talked to our team, and he did all of our team. He gave us the Enneagram profile inventory, and turns out we had no 1s. We had a ton of 3s.
Wow.
A ton of 3s. And so he said, what kind of organization? It was a larger organization. He's like, how in the world do you have no 1s? And he goes, and he starts describing what he imagines this organization to be without 1s. He was pretty accurate. That chaos, changing directions all the time, loudest wins, just different things. And so we changed our hiring process and realized that sometimes we need to intentionally hire skills to make us a way better organization. So one of the things that you bring to the table is you think differently, you think better, you think thoroughly, and it makes us better. So I appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
I'm
also challenged by the other numbers that I get to work with, like 3s and 7s.
How would a 3 challenge you?
To like let loose a little bit more, like, I don't know, just make a decision and hope for the best.
Yeah. Lots of optimism.
Yeah, optimism. Yeah.
Okay, so pastoring a lot, especially back in the day, like when we were all growing up. I'm just throwing myself in your era. I know you're younger. Okay, but back in the day, it used to be more typical for pastors to not spend too much time in a place. Was that true with you guys? Were you several different spots while you were growing up pastoring, or what did that look like?
So I would say I had maybe more of an atypical experience in that I really grew up in one church. And in Arizona, in Mesa, Arizona, and love that church, had great relationships. When I was starting 7th grade, we moved to Springfield, and that's, my dad wanted to continue his education and start teaching eventually at CBC, which is now Evangel University.
Yeah.
And so we made the move as I was transitioning. That summer between 6th and 7th is when we moved here. So I have only really lived those 2 places until I went off to college.
Okay.
So
what did you think of Springfield? Where did you go to school?
So I started at Carver Middle School and then had 1 year at Kickapoo. And then we moved from South Springfield to North Springfield. And then 10th grade on, I was at Hillcrest.
You're a Hornet?
I'm a Hillcrest Hornet. Yes.
Wow.
Northsider. Yep.
Okay. Very cool. And so then, did you go down to Southwestern University? Is that
I said, I got to get out of this town.
Yeah.
There's only, so many colleges in Springfield.
Yeah.
I want to go to a different school in a different city and not see my parents at Walmart maybe every weekend or go to the same church as them for an indefinite period of time. So I ventured all the way to Texas, just south of Dallas to Southwestern.
In
Waxahachie, Texas.
Wow.
Yeah, which was a great experience. It was far enough away that I had to figure some things out and become...
Did you know people?
No. My childhood best friend from Arizona went to that college, but other than that, I didn't really have any connections or friends there. It was really like my first out on my own experience at 18. So I got in my Buick LeSabre and I drove down to Waxahachie.
It made it.
And it made it, yep. And it was great. It was a really good time for me to grow and spread my wings a little on my own.
Yeah.
So
when did Preston come into your life then? Was it down there?
Oh, man. Well, we like to say we met freshman year, but we were both kind of interested in other people. So we didn't really notice each other until like the next year. So.
Okay. Yeah. Started dating then there while you were a student?
Yeah. We were both in a comedy group called Southwestern Live.
Okay. I got some more questions.
We would write sketches like Saturday Night Live a little bit and perform them when the high schoolers would come visit on college days and be on campus. So that's how we met. We were both in that group.
Was Carissa Ross, was that a connection?
Carissa Ross was in that group.
Who is now a North Pointer.
Yeah.
Carissa Thorpe, I believe.
She's hilarious.
She is hilarious.
Like,
she does stand-up comedy.
She's continued to be hilarious. Mine and Preston's humor has faded since college. I think she has gotten reprioritized. Sure,
it's there.
Carissa is still classically funny, and I love her. She's amazing.
That's awesome. Okay, so tell me a little bit more about this comedy. Any favorite memories of that?
So I do have this. I had this character that I did a couple of times.
This is about to get good.
You gotta bear with me. Her name was Awkward Alyssa.
Awkward Alyssa.
She had some awkward mannerisms that would come out.
Any that are appropriate to share with our Riff listeners?
Well, the one I remember most vividly was that there was one scene where I had to take my sock and shoe off and get my foot up on the desk and actually bite my toenails.
Chew your toenails?
Yeah. It wasn't
Did you do it?
I did it in front of all the students and parents visiting that weekend. And ironically, Preston's parents were also there that weekend. That was my first time meeting them as his girlfriend. And awkward
Alyssa.
She was there.
When's the last time you pulled an awkward Alyssa?
Oh, man. I don't even think I could chew my toenails now, but I don't know. It's kind of retired.
I don't know. I'm thinking staff Christmas party. Do you take bookings? That'd be awesome.
I think we should book Carissa.
Yeah, that's great. So then when you guys got out of college, I know you've been involved in so much ministry. Did it start right away?
Yeah, we've done a number of roles and lived a number of places. So contrary to my childhood of only being at a couple spots, when we got married, we were youth pastors for a little bit, then young adults pastors.
Is that down in New Mexico?
Well, we went to Oklahoma first for a short stint. Then we were in Albuquerque.
Okay.
And then we were back in Texas. We went back to the college and worked as dorm pastors, which was a really unique experience.
Yeah. Did you like that? Was it like, that sounds like a lot of work.
I liked it. We lived in the dormitory, so we had all, 200 and some students that we were serving in the same building. Would that be
like a resident life staff type of spot?
Yeah, like a resident director, maybe at a different college type of role. But we got to pastor them, but also had very little privacy. So it was like the combination of, we love you guys and want you to succeed. And then also like, do you have a spoon I can borrow? Yeah. Because kids would come and like ask us for
anything,
dishes or help, or their toilets clogged. So it was a combination of facilities and pastoral and everything in between.
Yeah.
So, but it was, we made some great relationships. It was a great season of life. Both of our girls were born during those years when we were at the college. Yeah. So having a baby, newborn on top of living in a dorm and all of those things. But our out of that journey, I would say is when church planning kind of came into our hearts as like the next step that we were going to take.
Yeah.
So I think because of us being in that season, we felt that God calling us to move to Denver and to do a new work, plant something brand new out there. So yeah.
So when you were in Denver, is that around the same time too Doubters Club. Is that a lot of the same time of the birth of that?
Yeah. So Preston actually started the Doubters Club before we started our church.
Okay.
So we had moved into a neighborhood in North Denver. We were trying to meet people, trying to build like relationships, and kind of just live there for about a year before we started any church gathering or service.
Yeah.
And through that time, he met a local coffee shop owner who was not a believer, and they just kind of struck up this friendship and wanted to continue that in a more formal setting where people could come and watch them discuss topics that they disagree on. And that was kind of how the Doubters Club was born out of that relationship. And then the church was planted after that.
Wow. Any favorite takeaways from the church planting years?
Oh, man. Well, I think it really taught us how to neighbor people.
Okay.
Be a good neighbor, because when you don't have a church facility, we were just renting like a middle school on Sunday nights only for service. Our home became like where we would invite people, like actually learning people's names that lived near us and learning their stories and what they needed. I think the priority of that was really a bigger deal to us than like what the sermon was going to be next week, because we had to do ministry out of what we had, which was our home.
Yeah.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to talk about neighbors. One of the things that, I'm so thankful and inspired by the way you and Preston lead is in your community, the community you've developed in your neighborhood. So we've been over there. We've seen, it's amazing. So describe a little about the community you developed, how it's developed, and why that's important.
Yeah. Well, I would say part of it is just luck or like God's favor, and part of it is like maybe actions or intention. But we moved into a neighborhood in Springfield, not knowing that we were going to get some really great neighbors, some other young families that also live there. But it is easy in the busyness of life to just be in your house at night and not make any move to necessarily meet people or let your kids go out and play with other people, and kind of the awkward moment of like introducing yourself to someone that you've already lived next to for a few months. Like somebody has to make that first move. Somebody has to knock on the door and say, "Hi, I'm so-and-so. I live next door. Nice to meet you." So I think we had kind of worked that muscle enough church planting that when we moved here, it was definitely something we were craving again, because we had it in Denver with community there. So I think in our neighborhood, we have a couple of like communal, there's a pool. So in the summer, that's like a gathering place where it's really easy to meet and have conversations and make plans with people that live near us. And then just the fact that we have a cul-de-sac kind of street where kids can go out and play safely, and we can sit in our driveway and other neighbors can come out and we can just hang out in the driveway and get to know each other and share meals and have community together. Yeah. So I don't think we realized how blessed we were picking the neighborhood we picked when we moved here, because we didn't know. But I'm really glad that we did, because I love our neighbors and I'm glad that we get to live there and do life with other families. So
yeah, I love that you guys seem to be very intentional about that, and whether it's like it's the neighborhood guys do a poker night, or you guys do like holiday, everyone's going to come over and, do a dessert night, whatever you guys do. You've helped create this sense of community, and we've seen that develop into some really good friendships that you all have. So what would you say to somebody because I don't think that's super common. So what would you say to someone who's a North Pointer who's listening, who my hope would be that we're talking about like popping the bubble, getting out of here, and just trying to love those around us. What would be a good first step for people who are listening who might have already lived beyond that awkward moment and they don't know their neighbors and they know exactly what part of their neighborhood they need to push the garage door button to open so that they can slide in just right?
Yeah. My piece of advice for myself, being a one and having maybe an expectation that my house always looks clean or that it looks like a Pinterest board and it does not, is I just had to kind of swallow that pride of like, I call it scrappy hospitality.
Okay, tell me about what that means.
Scrappy hospitality means like my home is open to you. And that means clean, not so clean. If your kid needs to eat lunch and they're playing in my yard, they're welcome to eat lunch at my house. If there's a snow day and you've got a Zoom call, let's help each other out. You know, like I think that getting over the image of what we think our homes need to look like has been helpful to just be like, this is our home and you're welcome here. And then that also allows you to be real with me. If you invite me into your home, you don't have an expectation that you have to have everything perfect.
Yeah.
So I think that's helped me with my one tendencies to try and be perfectionist looking that's not real life.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's really good. Okay, so the other thing that jumped out to me with both you and Preston is just parenting. One of my favorite things about the staff role is to see the staff with kids, and you get to know them over the years in different stages. And you guys do such a good job creating an environment for your kids to just grow and learn and have fun. And they are fun to interact with. As a parent, what are some of the things you're most proud of? Obviously about your kids, we know, but or we all have that. But as far as what are some of the principles of parenting that you're like, man, I really like that we do this as parents?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think we always try to talk to our kids about the values that we have as a family, and more so than the list of things we don't want them to do and do want them to do. More talking about the values. Like the other day, Brennan came in and there was a problem going on outside with some of the neighbors, and she wasn't letting one of the boys play with her and her friend from across the street. So instead of being like, Brennan, like, don't do that, we just took a moment to be like, Brennan, you're an Ulmer, and Ulmers include people. And to kind of elevate, this is who our family is, and this is who we want you to be as a person, over don't do that behavior, but do this behavior. I think we try to do that. I wouldn't say that we always are perfect at it, obviously, but like teaching our kids to be people that love well, that include well, that are honest, like all of those values that we want to see them turn out to have as adults, we want to talk about them now as kids.
What would you have said to little Jeremy who shows up one day with a chest full of medals?
What did your mom say, Jeremy?
I was able to fool them, so I got them in Denver.
Oh, okay. I think it would be a conversation similarly about, I don't think you earned those. Did you earn those? Let me see your woodworking skills, please. I think that, and then I think also being able to apologize to your kids is a really big,
that's great.
Big thing that we try and model. Like, we mess up, we need to apologize. We need to say, I'm sorry that I raised my voice. I'm sorry that I rushed you out of the house in the morning and that made you stressed for school. Whatever that thing is, being quick to acknowledge our ownership in it and apologize. We always try to do that as parents as well. So
yeah. Well, I appreciate the way that you do that, and it's just I think that this idea of throwing, with parenting, we throw the ball, and our job isn't that they catch it, that we just throw a catchable pass, right? That I'm going to do my best shot, that you have every chance possible to catch my values and my faith. And I see you guys do that so well. I want to go back to the role that you play here, and just my opportunity to share with those who are part of North Point. It's very important that we have such a solid financial background and backdrop, because the mission's so important, the last thing we'd want to do is jeopardize it by having, and we joke about it, but for real, like we would not want impulsive decisions or shiny new things to detract us from the vision and the mission and the stability. And North Point hasn't always been in a place of financial stability. If we look at the history, there's been some really challenging times, whether it was 12 years ago, 9 years ago. There are times where you're like, boy. And one of the things that I really appreciate about you and the team is what we need real consistent systems with real accurate data, with real-time information to help make real good decisions. And you're providing that, and you do it in a way, and it's fun. We all have personality styles and Enneagram styles. What I love that you bring to that table is a very orderly, structurally predictable ability for us to know exactly where we're at. If we're wanting to propose something that's different, why is it different? How will it help? But then also doing it so mission focused is I feel like you grab the mission tightly and then you use your skills. So those of you who are at North Point, if you ever have any questions about the different ways to give. I know that we always talk about, giving online, dropping the bucket, but I do want to, while you're here, I just thought about this. Yeah. Let's talk about there's a unique way of giving, right? It's the non-cash funds or whatever that is. Talk a little bit about what that is, and maybe someone's listening and that's more their season of life.
Yeah. So we definitely have people who have opportunities to give in other ways, like donating stock, or maybe they have like a donor advised fund that they've set up. And we are able to accept all of those donations through different means. So we have a great team that can help you with walking through those steps. Yeah. We love to help. We have an email if you have a question and you'd like to give a unique gift to North Point. It's just giving@northpointchurch.tv, and we can happily assist you with figuring out how to do that. But yeah, we've even had someone reach out once they wanted to give cryptocurrency, so we can even accept crypto. Yeah. But we're happy to help if you have a specific way or gift that you like to give that we would be able to take.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, and just wanted you all to see a little bit about the stories of the people behind, sometimes behind the public eye, are people who are doing a lot of the heavy lifting as well. But I know, Lisa, you've done so much for North Point. I love the way you do it, and thanks for sharing your story. Is there any question that you were afraid I was going to ask, but now you're glad I didn't, but I still have time to?
Ooh. Okay, this is like really embarrassing.
Okay.
I was hoping you weren't going to ask me if there's still Christmas lights on my house.
Time out. Leanne would have asked that. Are there Christmas lights still in your house?
Yes, but it's not my fault.
Whoa. It's yes. But yes, but doesn't.
Yes, but the company that's supposed to take them down.
Can you tell us whose fault it is?
I don't want to.
It's a company.
It's a company.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of snow days the past 2 months, correct? So they also do snow removal as part of their business, and they have not made it out to our house yet to take down our lights, but they're coming on Saturday.
Okay, now, can I tell you something? We lived in a neighborhood that it's kind of like you described yours. It would be like, would shut the block down, would have a lot of parties. Yeah. It was super fun.
Did you have an HOA?
No, no HOA, but we were like all, and so we were all tight. But Leanne was like an unofficial HOA. She's got a lot of 1 in her. She tests as a 2 or a 1, depends on the day. Oh no. And so she went, there's one neighbor, so like we would know all the neighbors. There's this one neighbor that never came to our staff, never came to the parties, and we didn't know them well. Yeah. And Leanne went and took their lights down one day while they were at work and left them in a bin. She bought a bin, put all their lights, got on a ladder, everything, took them all down from the house, put them in a bin with a note that says, "I got these for you."
Is she busy this afternoon?
Well, no, I'm just saying if she drove by, she would she would self-deputize her the project. So you might just say, "Hey, Leanne, can you swing by my house today?" And they'll be done. So I was like, Leanne, I think those are some social norms we just broke. So, yeah. But She said, no, yeah, they were broken, but I took care of it. Is you're not supposed to have lights up past March 1st.
Well, yeah.
As of this recording, you still might have a couple days, but as the time this drops,
they should be off.
Next time you see Lisa, ask her about her lights.
Please.
So, and if they're not, let's bring some accountability to that. So, Lisa, thank you for your vulnerability, your bravery, your courage. Thank you so much, Riff listeners, for yet another week of listening to the Riff, and hope you have a great week.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Riff. We'll have a brand new episode every week, wherever you find podcasts.